Anyway, yeah, no, people that we call it whales or fish thing used to be a belief that we actually had.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Oh, I did not know that. Wait, Javin, are you actually up here?
I think there's a
Um,
glitch.
I can't tell. I
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
it's a
But
glitch.
Chonch, can I get your age for TikTok?
Oh, what's that?
Can I get your age for TikTok?
30.
All right. What you got to say about the topic?
Um, I don't know if it's a settled science.
What?
The neo-Darwinist theory of evolution.
You said you don't know if it's settled science.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate what you mean by that? So we're on the same
I
page.
think that there is a further sublation needed with the kind of reductionist neo-Darwinist theory of genetics and something that's not necessarily creationism, but has a certain teleology which might be best represented in a like kind of religious hermeneutic.
This is a Phil bro.
So I mean, it's we're talking about the philosophy of science, right? So isn't that the point?
No, we're talking about the fact of science.
The fact of science is predicated on the philosophy of science. You can't have
Truth
one
and
separate from the
philosophy.
other. This is just a
Oh
critique
yeah,
of
no, they're
empiricism.
separate. They're separate. The
They're separate. Okay,
philosophy,
explain to me how do facts emerge?
philosophy and
They
science
they
are two
happen through the
separate things.
they happen through the
Philosophy
scientific
and science are inexorably.
Conch. They happen
He's
through the
gonna go.
scientific process, which does not require any amount of thinking about what reality is. So therefore, it is not philosophy.
And I swear to God, if you say that science is rooted in philosophy, I'm gonna fucking lose my
Well,
mind.
well, he's not totally wrong when he says that.
I no,
Philosophical
we've had
thinking
this whole
did
conversation.
lead a lot to science, at
Yeah,
least modern science.
we've had
But the
this whole
process of
conversation.
science we've been
Yeah,
doing since before we even pondered philosophy. The idea of
exactly that.
creating an idea, then testing your idea, then having other people do the same thing has existed since probably our last few ancestors.
Gribble, I know that we both know that we both know that it's not a black and white thing, but with these guys, it's black and white. It's either
Like
this or
it's
that.
Phil Bros, right? He's not like an academic philosopher. He's just
Yeah,
some dude who picked
I'm
up
not
a
trying
philosophy
to
class.
talk about philosophy. I'm talking about what I said earlier. I think there's a sublation needed in order to best understand evolution.
that's philosophy.
Sublation is not philosophy. Sublating is actually the process in which scientific fact emerges.
You're
The
talking about
heliocentric
philosophy.
version of of the solar system, for example,
Can you
was a
explain the height
sublation of the two observations between the geocentric and the emerging uh, observations present in like ship navigation, etc.
okay,
It's called a sublation. It's just like it's just a synthesis of two competing ideas.
so I'm just curious, can you define to me really quick what the scientific process is and tell me where philosophy fits in? And tell me where something
Philosophy would fit into the scientific process in understanding the essence of logic and of the
philosophy isn't about logic.
subjective experience of observation and what that is. That would be the realm of philosophy, right? The scientific method would be in the empirical measurements predating to know the thing in it itself.
Come on, bro. You should know what the scientific process is. You learn this in first grade, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth,
Wait,
ninth,
do you want me to just tell you what the
11th, and
scientific
12th
process
grade.
is of like hypothesis and experimentation? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I want you to do. I want you to explain each step to me and tell me where philosophy is.
The philosophy in the scientific process would be in the hypothesis section of that equation.
All science requires philosophy and a hypothesis?
Isn't that part of the scientific method?
No.
No, because a hypothesis is an educated guess, typically based on past observations
Right.
or evidences.
Okay, but it's still an
There's
art
no
of the
amount of,
mind.
I wonder, how could reality work? Right? There's none of that in the hypothesis. It's more like I wonder how this could work because I saw this, or because I witnessed this, or when I did this, this happened. And now I'm creating an idea based on that.
Okay, right. But I'm saying that where philosophy is inexorably tied is that
It's a completely different field.
the hypothesis within this type of experimentation is predicated on a certain paradigm, which itself is predicated on a kind of
Where was
undercurrent of the
philosophy
philosophy of science itself.
in the theory of gravity? Where was philosophy?
You would say that would be the Cartesian modern subject. Basically, is required for
Okay,
the
when
understanding of gravity.
Galileo Galilei was tossing things off the Tower of Pisa and being condemned by the Catholic Church, what was he philosophizing?
He would not be a philosopher, but in order to understand, like in order to articulate gravity, right, you have to have a paradigm of science. You have to have established theory of rationalism, right?
Okay, so if we're gonna go down this route, which is
I don't want to go down this route, to be honest. Like, can we just go?
if you're gonna go
stick
down
to the
this
topic at
route, and
hand?
it's a really dumb route discussing when it comes to philosophy and science. Science as a philosophy is an empirical philosophy, specifically naturalism.
Yeah,
So,
well,
like,
empiricism has some holes in it, right?
based on what?
Based on the
But it's not
what
organic.
Kant would call the critique of pure reason.
You sure about that?
Are you familiar with the critique of empiricism, broadly accepted in the scientific community?
Yeah, I am asking you, how is that a hole in science?
I'm saying empiricism is an outdated philosophy of
Based
science
on what?
because you do not understand the thing in itself through sense perception only.
So we're just gonna go down the route of solipsism?
It's not solipsism, it's simply
I didn't
the
say
broadly
it is. I said
understood.
we're just going to end up going down the route of solipsism. Like, do you think that in order to understand the reality as we know it, you can't rely on sense data?
Well, it's pretty obvious that sense data does not encapture all of existence, right?
Well, you didn't answer my question.
What that that subject? I'm not going to go down that what I would consider a nihilistic route. No, I don't. I think that you can know the thing in itself.
Oblivion, can I take a shot at this? So
Go right ahead. Like, this is a dumb argument.
if I create a camera,
Yes.
it's not me. It's not my sensory perception. And I put that camera in a room to record something. And then I leave that room while it's recording. It automatically uploads to a computer, which is also not my sensory input. It's also not my brain. And then it translates everything from that camera onto the computer, and I just view it. At what point were my senses required for that experiment to exist?
None. I would agree that the information being relayed is real and material.
Okay, well, I was just making sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing that. Again, I'm not making the nihilist argument that nothing is real. I'm not an idealist. I'm a materialist.
All right,
So I
well,
think that things exist outside our own subjective perspective.
that
Yeah.
The nihilist is not going to say nothing is real. The nihilist is going to say that nothing matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nihilism is based on the idea that like your own subjective interpretation of like moral ethics and of living nature itself is like what defines it. It's ultimately idealism.
That's optimistic nihilism.
Yeah, but it's still that's like I'm talking about the basis of nihilism is idealism as opposed to materialist.
Like, if you're going to talk about like sense data, if you want to talk about anything when it comes to sense data, like this just goes down solipsism.
The only point about sense data is that the idea that time, space, and causality is not something that you actually learn through sense perception. It has to be something priorly bootstrapped onto your consciousness.
So how are you able to experience time without
the
sense
passage
data?
of time?
Well, the passage of time is a process, right? you are currently in that process, so you can say that you're experiencing time all of the time.
Not only that, but if you
Well, not. I
get
mean, at
rendered,
what point does that emerge? At what point?
Yes.
I would say it's
emerged-
at the level of
Josh,
consciousness
it
itself.
emerged when the first order of change ever happened, and then it continued.
So you think that time, right? But human understanding of what we would consider time is something that does not.
It's
you don't-
malleable.
You do
because
not
we
come
are
from
not
an
alone.
unexperienced. You do not come from a place in which time and space are separate, and you, through your sense perception, learn to comprehend these things. These
So-
things are actually understood a priori.
Well, this is the thing.
Chance, whatever
I
your name is,
disagree.
humans can
completely disagree.
sense the passage of time.
Yeah,
Like,
you can
if you're
sense
rendered
the passage of time
unconscious
and-
and when you come to, you instinctually know that time has passed.
and then also
Yeah,
you
because
know,
time and space are an it's called the synthetic a priori.
you know space is real. Do you want to know why? Because
Because it is called a priori knowledge.
You can look in the sky and realize, oh shit, that's nothing like this space that I'm in currently. And then you can put your arms out in front of you and you can wave them around.
Yeah, I know, but in order to process that sense, you have to have an a priori understanding of causation, time, and space before you could observe it.
No, you wouldn't need to.
Okay, then how do you understand time and space?
Again, all
I feel
time
like we
is
should
is
just
measurement of
replace
change,
time.
and
Yeah, I
all
think we
space
should just
is the
replace that
distance
fucking
between objects.
Right, but how do you know something has
We need to
changed? How
start
does
a
your
real-
brain put together the things that are changing
We need
that
to
are
start
the
a
same
real-
thing? Why is it not? Why is this comprehended at all?
We need to get rid of the word time. We just need to fucking get rid of that word. And
I mean, it's not even like not even that. Like, it's
Right,
also
right. Again, guys,
change.
this,
Like, do
all
you
I'm
honestly
doing,
think
all
that
I'm
statement-
doing is relaying the very broadly accepted, even within the scientific community, understanding of the Critique of Pure Reason by Immanuel Kant.
But again, the problem with what you're doing right now is this: like, do you actually deny that there is that there is a change of state that occurs?
within.
No, I don't deny it. I view time and space
Okay, 'cause
as real.
that
I'm
is what
simply saying
time
that
is.
my point is that you cannot empirically understand time and space. You have to understand this a priori.
You can use empirics to understand time and space.
After you're already conscious. This is the
I can't
transcendental mediation
understand
of
shit
reality.
if I'm not conscious. That's a bad
Do you
argument.
understand what the transcendental mediation of reality
Like,
is?
that is a complete moot point. I can't understand shit if I'm not conscious.
All right, I'm sick of this. I would just like to reiterate that this all started because you were trying to say that we can't rely on empirical evidence because it's a flawed fucking philosophy. How the fuck did you prove any of that when you kept conceding that, like, it's not like I'm saying reality doesn't exist. Like, where are we going with this?
Simply saying that it's undialectical to think is the empiricists do is privy to reductionism, which I think that the genetic paradigm is biased towards.
You're not saying anything. You're just as bad as a film bro.
Okay. What I'm saying is that a gene is a unit of heredity, and I think that is metaphysics and is not actually
No, it is
real
not.
science.
It is
Metaphysics?
chemical in nature.
We can
Like, literally, like,
In
tell
what
me
way?
you don't know genetics without telling me you don't know genetics. Like, do you understand what allele frequency is? Do you understand all 4 types of mutation?
I
do
don't
you understand,
deny
Do you
microbiology.
understand what folded proteins become?
What I
It is
said,
not
I said,
metaphysical.
guys,
It is completely natural and it's observable.
what I said was the concept of a gene is metaphysics. What you
No, it
heard
is
was
not.
that I deny.
It is chemical in nature.
What you heard and are responding to is that I deny DNA, which is not
No.
true.
That is not even remotely what I'm implying.
No, dude,
I'm implying your lack of understanding of genetics.
I'm sick of this. Like,
Metaphysics has
What
nothing to do when it comes to
does
genes.
DNA? What qualifies as a unit of heredity?
there's.
Okay, do you understand what exactly genetics is when it comes into heredity?
The acquiring of characteristics.
What? Okay, what specifically?
That is literally the hereditable process of acquiring characteristics and passing them down to create speciation in the living nature.
Speciation only applies to to groups of organisms. When we talk about heredity singularity, that's only from parent to offspring. So you try to combine speciation in with this.
Speciation is a result of heredity. Heredity is at the root of speciation, right?
Speciation only applies to larger groups.
Okay, well, the acquiring of characteristics is what is hereditable.
Yeah, and what exactly is the process?
It's a dialectic between the nuclear DNA and the environment. It is a dialectic between the nuclear DNA and the conditions.
I'm done.
Just a fill, bro.
It's just a film bro. They're just as bad as film bros. They just say bullshit and just hope you don't know what they're talking
I
about.
love philosophy, right? Because philosophy is just questioning your reality, but I suppose in a less empirical sense. It's the pondering thoughts.
And I would like to
About
reiterate.
what reality is, why reality is, it's the purpose of you, man, whatever.
And I would like to reiterate that I love films, despite the fact that I brought up film bros a couple of times. It's just that they're the same breed of person of just like, oh, the mise-en-scène of this composition really speaks to the...
Yeah, they like
the-
want to be academic Phil bros, and they're not. And so
Yeah, they're not. They're
when they're
not
trying
saying
to just
anything.
discuss with people who aren't academic philosophers, they're
Yeah.
trying to be like one, but that's not constructive to the conversation. It is far better to just talk about philosophy like a normal person would. You're not an academic philosopher, and this isn't an academic philosophical discussion.
Not even that. Like the whole problem is like he's trying to say like this is metaphysical when it's not. Nowhere in gene expression is metaphysical. You trying to make it metaphysical is you try to shoehorn superstition as well as cultural belief into something that has nothing to do with it.
Well, I don't think he was
He says
speaking to
we're
the truth
scared
of
to
the
debate, but he gave us the philosophical nuh-uh answers.
He said he wouldn't go into solipsism, but then he started talking about, he's saying the concept of a gene is metaphysical. He said he wouldn't do solipsism, but that
Genes are not real, bro.
concepts aren't real.
Concept of a gene
Yeah, exactly.
is
That's
beyond this reality. Let's be so for real. We who were in this reality thought about gene expression and genes. We're the ones who made the word and the idea, but we didn't make the thing that existed. So the concept of it is still rooted in the natural causes of the universe because we are here from natural causes of the universe.
No, we made the universe, bro.
Bryce, what shape is the Earth?
What?
Fucking flat like a square.
What did you say, me?
What is the shape of the Earth?
It's a cylinder, bro.
Cylinder.
Cylinder.
I'm not dealing with trolls.
Did he want to say sphere?
He said no single thing qualifies as a gene.
He was gonna say a
Yes,
circle.
genes
fucking
are very
stupid, son?
specific.
Oh, but
There's
they're
a lot
not
of
in reference.
modifications into what makes a gene a gene.
I can't. I don't know. I just can't entertain him. He's a wannabe philosopher. He's a pseudo philosopher.
DNA does not equal a gene.
Does your my question to him would be like, does his negation of conceptual understanding add anything to the conversation?
No,
Not at all.
it's a realm of skepticism that isn't needed. It's unnecessary.
It's skepticism that is complete. That's the point of critique of pure reason, is that it's a kind of skepticism that is not. What does it add, dude?
Like it doesn't, except to undermine current understanding.
And it
Let's
doesn't.
creative.
It
What are you
doesn't
talking
provide a
about?
solution either, right? Like it doesn't provide
Creative
like,
biology.
hey, this is another route of thinking that we could approach this with. It doesn't provide that. It just is a skeptic, nuh-uh. It's just a Phil Bro version of doing it.
Yeah, what about Kant's critique of practical reason?
Well, that's what he was actually bringing up.
It's two. Let's read both of them.
Ryan, you would say some, you saying some shit in the comments. You got anything you wanna back up with that as far as gravity still being a theory? Whatever else you were saying.
Yeah, see, now you're just morally grandstanding. provides a clear understanding of reality, not a clear understanding of biology. They're unrelated. That's why empiricism is the method science uses.
And it works.
That works really well.
Almost too well.
We should add a little bit. We should add a little bit of solipsism in there. We should go right back to natural philosophy and just ask those
Like
questions.
this is me and this is like me personally. Also, hey Ryan, how you doing? But
Was
also,
it natural philosophy how we got the idea that flies were just spawning like
Yeah,
random?
dude, that's why we
You-
moved away from natural philosophy. Is because it didn't work very well.
It was just like a weird skeptic view of, well, nothing that we see, know, taste, touch, or hear could ever be true. And so it must just be spawning out of thin air.
You're hallucinating the whole thing.
It is all just a grand illusion.
and like I said, like this is literally just unhealthy skepticism and trying to use classical philosophy in order to be like, well, I could just philosophize this in a scientific field, yet you are literally talking like out of your ass when it comes into gene expression.
Sometimes when you talk to people who have that kind of epistemic doubt, they have a deep depression because they can't. Because
I won't go that far. I don't want to assume mental
Yeah,
health.
yeah. It was just one guy I talked to, but like the way he interpreted
Or maybe
it.
he was just reading Nietzsche.
sad. Yeah, like he has no like. I'm not talking about this dude. You know, obviously
Nietzsche was a very depressing person.
it was like, and he justified it through his own intelligence. He's like, I'm so intelligent that this philosophy makes me sad. And no, it's your adherence to the philosophy on like a.
It's your own stupidity for sticking so strictly to that philosophy that makes you miserable.
Sciences are relativistic, and that's not to say that they're useless. You know,
I think there's a lot of malleability within science, and I think there's a lot of new ways of thinking that you can introduce into science.
absolutely.
There is a
Like-
truth to philosophy paving a lot of science, but it is not reliable conductivity of science.
If you think that your existence is metaphysical, of course everything is metaphysical. That's not a point.
And there's nothing we can argue then because we could neither prove your point or disprove your point. Because you won't accept
Hey,
it.
can I clarify some things you guys have been accusing me of?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I don't mean to talk out of turn. I mean, I really apologize if I mischaracterized you.
Okay, I'm not an idealist. I think that things exist and are real, right? I think that observation is crucial to the scientific method. I'm simply creating a debate around the idea that there is such a single unit of heredity. Not that DNA doesn't play a role in hereditable acquisition of traits, not that microbiology doesn't exist, simply that just rejecting the Mendel-Morganist model that there is such thing as a kind of an immutable substance of heredity. That is what I'm criticizing as
Again,
That's like if
metaphysics.
someone
has
asks-
to literally deny all of genomics, and also this is a clear lack of understanding of how genetics works.
Okay, well,
Like, if I were
clarify
to
it for
ask
me
you,
then.
do you understand what a promoter is?
Can
What
you
is
clarify it for me then? I'm asking you.
Yeah, that's why I
Educate me
asked you, do
if
you
I'm wrong.
understand what a promoter is?
I don't know what a promoter is. What is a promoter?
Promoters are the specific proteins that allow gene expression.
Okay, they're expressing things based on what?
Okay, off of chemical reactions, specifically chemical reactions that formulate protein bonds.
Okay, so at what point are these things hereditable? Like, at what point can they be passed
When they
down?
when they infect the germline of cells.
Okay, and that this is triggered based off a chemical reaction, right?
Yes.
And does it mutate the actual genome itself?
Do you
or is the
understand what a
genome
mutation
is the
is?
genome static and
Like
immutable,
chance,
or does it change?
chance. Do you understand what a mutation is?
Well, that's I think the point in contention here, right?
That you don't know what a mutation
No,
is?
that what generates a mutation? Like, is it random or is it?
Yes, they are random. And the reason why is because biological organisms cannot replicate themselves perfectly.
Well, wouldn't Gould's
is why there's
punctuated
four
equilibrium
types of
point to a
mutation.
non-random mutation of hereditable characteristics?
Like Chance,
The problem is,
I'm gonna ask you again because you didn't answer my original question. What is a mutation?
A mutation is a change in the underlying nuclear DNA, right?
Not just nuclear. Mutations exist in mitochondrial too.
Okay, but are these things, are these mutations simply random, or are
Yes.
they actually informed by the environment or the
They
conditions?
are random. This is why 99% of them are neutral.
Doesn't the fossil record, as it pertains to Gould's punctuated equilibrium, point to a less random?
No, it further confirms it. And the fossil record, which is my field because I'm studying vertebrate paleontology, further demonstrates that.
Okay, how?
Again, this is where we have to go into the mechanisms of evolution. Can you
Well, let's
name
talk
the
about it.
mechanisms?
Educate me. I'm asking you to tell me
That's
if
why
I'm
I'm
wrong.
asking you. Do you know? Yes or no?
Do I know what?
The 5 mechanisms of evolution.
No, tell them to me. What do you mean?
Mutation, gene flow, genetic drift, natural selection, sexual selection.
Okay.
Mutations occur because biological organisms do not copy perfectly. Mutations occur. When they get passed down throughout the population, that is gene flow. Genetic drift is when pressures are applied that weeds out certain traits. Natural selection is the environment itself and everything within said environment that weeds out organisms that cannot obtain reproductive fitness. Sexual selection is when organisms of the same groups weed out organisms that cannot obtain sexual fitness. Mutations.
Okay,
are neutral.
so explain to me then
99% of mutations
how do we
don't do
know that
anything.
this is simply a filtering process and not something that is engendered from an awareness of the environment
Because
itself?
mutations are neutral. They occur every single time someone is born, and they don't do anything until conditions are met that allow them to be expressed. And then they're either beneficial or they're disadvantageous.
What about something like crop fertilization or plant hybridization? Don't they seem
It
to
goes
have
under the
a
same process
awareness
until
of
they
the
have
environment?
until they have the right conditions to allow that expression to express itself. They're neutral.
But you
And this
keep
has
using the
nothing-
word expression, right? Like epigenetic expression. But how is that
No, I
not
am not
interrelated
talking about
with the environment
epigenetic
itself?
expression. Don't put words in my mouth.
Again, and none of this has anything to do with philosophy or how unreliable or incomplete
Yeah, we're not talking about philosophy
empirical
right now.
evidence is.
We're not talking about
I'm not
philosophy.
talking
Again,
about
but the
epigenetics.
original
Like you're
conversation,
still
Okay,
trying
so
to
what do you mean by expression?
the original
gene
conversation,
expression,
Triggers gene expression.
promoters.
Promoters.
He already
Promoters are
explained it to
particular.
you.
Okay, promoter. Like Ryan, no one cares. And plus,
Oblivion,
also,
I
you
really
be,
hate for you
you
to
be aggressive
repeat
too.
yourself.
You were this frustrated.
What are
Because this is genomics.
okay?
So
So there's
protein sequences that allow the expression of these proteins to to express themselves.
okay, but what triggers this specific relationship?
Specific processes that occur. Okay, specific processes that occur.
Like what?
Hold up. Tom could explain this better. Tom, can you please come up here? Because I'm about to blow a gas.
Dude, all I'm trying to say is that at some level in gene expression, it crosses the line between the nuclear DNA and the environment, either intracellular or beyond.
And nothing,
Yeah, so
none
what
of
you
that
said-
has
sorry,
anything to do with metaphysics.
Wait,
None of that has
That is
anything
true.
to
But
do
also, real quick,
with
Scribble.
philosophy.
Tom is here. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Please explain this. Come out to blow a gasket.
What's that?
Listen, can you please explain this because I'm about to blow a gasket?
Why? Because I ask questions? Sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's why. What was your question? Oh,
Are you talking to me?
yeah. Yeah, John.
Asking where the where expression comes from in terms of genes.
what, like where it started or where
Well,
it
just give
happened?
him your idea of what a singular hereditary unit is.
Yeah, I'm saying my argument is that there is no
Tom
unit of
needs to start.
heredity, that these things are mutable, and that the hereditary process is actually more of a dialectic between nuclear DNA and the environment.
So I'm a bit confused on what you mean by that. So what, the nuclear DNA is affected by environment? Yeah, you've got like mutagens and carcinogens, that kind of stuff that damages it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, also that informs it in productive ways too, where it actually
doesn't
seems to be
inform it.
aware of the conditions in which it is best suited for survival.
I understand. So there's no evidence whatsoever, because everything in your cell is trying to stay the same. Because any mutation whatsoever, all the cells are really, really scared of getting cancer. That's the big one. There's so many.
We know that these mutations are random.
I know, but there's a big chance of like BRCA or one of these, oncogenes, and that's the thing. That's why we have aging. That's why we have, telomeres. All these things because we're very scared of getting mutations.
No, I understand that. I'm simply asking you, how do you know that it is random and not simply just ignorance to a underlying process?
It's not just
because from this, there's been a lot of studies on this, like a lot.
Yeah, but they're just statistical analyses, right? What could appear as so-called random could be just ignorance.
It could be, but you know what? So you're right to an extent where there are certain genes or certain areas that are more likely to have mutations, but that's not due to some inherent mechanism. That's more just due to the actual binding of the nucleotides. So I think it's T's are more likely to switch out, or if they're like bases, if it's like an A and a T and a C and a G, they're more likely to have a mutation. But they
more likely
in
to have
no
a
way
mutation.
tolerate it. Sorry?
Why are they more likely to have a mutation?
Because of the hydrogen bonds. Because an A and T, they have, I think it's 2 hydrogen bonds, and the C and G, there are 3, or the other way around. And basically, if C gets switched out for a G, or the other way around, like a T to a a U, basically this will keep the same number of hydrogen bonds. So although it's the wrong structure and it'll be a bit wonky, it'll still work better than having 2 hydrogen bonds trying to get with 3 hydrogen bonds. That makes sense.
Sure. So it's due to chemical properties, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that explain the majority of mutations at the level of the so-called gene?
So on the gene level, it's the thing we have that lets us replicate is like DNA polymerase 2 is the main one. There's a bunch of other ones I've had to learn. It's hurt my soul. But basically, this goes wrong a lot. 1 out of every 10,000 to 100,000 times. And we've got a genome of 3.8 billion nucleotides. So it goes wrong quite a lot. So we have a lot of DNA repair mechanisms that will go around and basically make sure everything's in order. And that's what we've evolved, because the main thing, they just want to get it done quickly. And we, instead of fixing that, is just fix the repair mechanisms. So you're like base excision repair, nucleotide excision repair, and all these different mechanisms to try and fix all the mistakes it causes.
Major contention here is that I don't see in living nature a sort of gradualism in terms of speciation. I think what's really observed is just speciation itself. So that a lot of, for example, like the famous whale like diagram they see as a kid, that's not gradualism. Those are just all distinctively different species that tend to emerge whole cloth.
I agree, but I think that's just because we're at this point now where that's happened. Everything has a set of niches where all throughout, usually this is kind of the cycle, everything has a thing, things want to go in the water, things want to eat the plants, things do that. Everything dies out. Things go and fill the niches because everything rushes.
Things that fill the niches seem to have emerged as wholly new species in general.
Yes, because the
that's
niches
not
are so
even the
incredibly
that's not
different
even
from
the
each
case
other.
in how we observe it.
They're so different to each other.
Where's the evidence for gradualism? What's
Well,
the evidence
because if you look
that you're
now,
pointing
there's
to?
so much different things. Like you might see now, because we're in a relatively stable time. We haven't had a mass extinction for a while.
Okay, what do you mean relatively stable?
Yeah.
Shouldn't it always be in constant flux?
It is in constant flux, and you can see this all the time. I mean, if you look at, I forgot which species it is, but it's like the snake and, I don't know, the predator, but they're constantly fighting back and forth, and one of them's got the best anti-venom in the world, and the other one's got the best venom in the world.
Are they the same species, or are they
No,
different
one of
species?
them's prey, one of them's predator. They're constantly fighting each other. So they've been getting...
Different species.
Yeah, one of them's a predator.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is there doesn't appear to be any gradual change within one
Again,
species to the next.
and
Species
again,
seem to
that is
emerge whole
not.
cloth.
I mean,
Let me
so
And
I,
again, like Chance, this is the biggest problem, and this is why I was getting frustrated because this is the underlying issue. All speciation is gradual. We see this with every living thing.
I'm actually
We're
arguing
at-
against
we're at
that.
a
I don't
point
think
right
there's
now.
any evidence that it's gradual. I think
Like
that it's
chance.
rapid and it
Chance.
changes.
Chance, and this is how I know this is gradual. Real quick, Water. What defines an organism as a species?
Its ability to sexually reproduce.
No.
yeah,
Well, what would it be if not that?
Distinct population group.
I thought he was produced fertile offspring.
Distinct population group, so that things that cannot interbreed but are a
Yeah,
distinct
Oblivion, can
population
you,
group.
like,
These are the same species. That makes no sense.
No. There are two. You could have two distinct population groups that are two species. An
I
example
appreciate
of
your
that
passion
will
for
be
the
two different
sport, like, we're just trying to have a
species.
conversation,
You're-
mate,
real
please.
quick, Tom. And the best example is wolves and coyotes. They're two distinct species. But guess what?
Actually,
Because since
aren't
they-
technically wolves and dogs like the same species technically?
Wolf- dogs, the domestic dog is a subspecies. I said coyotes.
Okay, so Oblivion, can you please, like, we just have a conversation
Oh,
here?
coyotes. Okay.
Like, you're screaming a lot.
Harry.
That's why I didn't put in dogs.
Okay, but
because
dogs and,
are
wolves and
subspecies.
coyotes are different species. What is
Yes,
that?
and they can interbreed and create fertile offspring.
Okay.
But it's a hybrid.
So, what makes them actually different species?
Distinct population group and speciation.
What is distinct
event.
population group? Just mean a displacement?
No, you have a population group that is distinct from a parent population to the point where you can no longer attribute it to the parent population.
Okay, but
That's what a species is.
I'm a little confused by what you mean, Oblivion. Like, I swear it was just like species that can't produce fertile offspring.
Yeah,
No,
this is
because-
I think this is
because-
the generally understood
Yeah,
definition.
no, it's not
what I
the
was
generally
taught.
understood evolution. It's the outdated model because it never took into account hybrids.
I mean,
Where are
enough.
there where are there hybrids? What are you talking about?
Human beings are hybrids.
Like you don't
I
understand
mean,
hybrids.
technically everything would be a hybrid because there's a common origins, as
yeah,
No,
Darwin
everything is
said.
constantly changing. I think it's an issue of people trying to put stuff in boxes.
This is just
that shouldn't be
definition
in there.
mongering.
But what I
Again,
think,
like, it's really-
Chance, to your original question, which is why don't we see stuff gradually? I think we do.
Can
But
I
one of the
can I
issues
give an
is
example,
that
Tom?
having
Just-
changes on the phenotypic
Wait.
level, on the we can see stuff, is it's not that common. You know, we have a lot of these things.
Wasn't
but
that a
they usually-
dialectical relationship of metabolisms within
No.
species that things are
Metabolic-
constantly changing?
No,
But at
metabolic
some
rate
point-
has everything to do with energy production, but also no. When we talk about species and gradualism, we have to see distinct population groups. An example of this.
I'm saying that there's constant change happening all the time.
There is,
I
yeah, you heard of
wasn't
the expensive
done.
tissue hypothesis?
A
Yeah,
great
I think that
example
there's-
how we observe speciation and why it is gradual because we do this with
I gotta go,
invertebrates.
guys. My son's upset. I'll talk to you later, but I'm not
Yeah, no
unconvinced.
worries, mate.
Thank you.
That's cool. Olivia, why are you just screaming? Like,
I'm not sure that Chaunch is even using dialectical correct.
He said
One, every single time I made a response, he keeps adding things in there, and I'm like, I'm not done. I'm getting frustrated. Also, second, he keeps repeating himself.
maybe it's just
Even after it's been
I'm gonna be
answered.
real with you. I don't know. I thought he was just asking questions.
Well,
It's
by,
not even about asking the question, he repeats it.
by predicating the conversation on Kant's pure reason, you cannot lose the argument, because it's like asking someone to build a house, then picking up the ruler and saying 1 inch is not an objective standard.
Okay.
So, and then he's goading you into asking questions about biology, but the basis of his argument is irrefutable. So he technically can't lose even if he's completely wrong.
Well,
Yes.
I agree with you, Torin.
It's like a trick.
The claim that he's making is something he has no plan to ever try to back up. He doesn't ever try to back it up. He just keeps trying to find a hole in your argument and then say, "Aha, that's where I'm right."
Yeah.
When he
It's
talks
saying
about
inch
when it
isn't
comes
real.
to quote unquote gradualism, right? And it's like, oh, I'm not gradualism. Here's the thing: speciation, as it's currently understood right now in biology and ecology, as well as cladistics, are distinct population groups that can no longer be attributed to parent populations. The reason why we don't use whether or not they have the ability to interbreed is because it never took into account hybridization, specifically fertile hybrids.
Which could have happened in ancient humans, only they didn't stick around, obviously.
So, well, I mean, that makes sense, because if you have all these species, I feel like trying to have a single thing of being like, this is a dividing point isn't great. Because sure, like, reproduction would be a good baseline for it, but I feel like there's so many other factors that could result in it. I don't know why that's the one that was chosen.
Well,
it doesn't take into account fertile hybrids, and it also doesn't take into account hybrid species that occur due to hybridization.
Yeah,
it never took that into account.
But you can use the example of the Bajau people, right, that have evolved recently to have larger spleens to facilitate deep diving and a better storage of oxygen.
They also have it's like a more common mutation to have webbed toes and fingers.
Really?
That's what I was trying.
Yeah, and his argument would be that they responded to their environment or something like that.
Well, that's
But
adaptation.
a bunch of people drowned. It's not.
Yeah. And it's not even that. Like an example I use, because I like using invertebrates, because invertebrates, since their lifespans are shorter, they have much more offspring within the lifespan of ours. We can see speciation would be the fruit fly experiment, because we created distinct species of fruit flies for this experiment, and one of them is in the pet
Yeah,
trade, which is the wingless fruit fly.
I think the
If
biggest
you can break it
It's
down,
a distinct
though, and draw-
species.
If you can draw human parallels, that usually has better utility, I find, with trying to discuss and prove observed evolution and gradual evolution, because it's when you start talking about fruit flies to somebody who is not really contending with the topic honestly, you're forced to, if you can hold up, human examples or Homo sapien examples of observed evolution, then it's harder to run from.
Well, yeah, I think you could just kind of do this. You could point back to our ancestors and be like, yeah, they are a proof of gradual evolution. Of gradual.
What's going on, Holmes? How you doing?
Or gradual.
Or like if we're just going, or like if you're not going to take invertebrates, I take larger organisms, and I start talking about insular dwarfism and insular gigantism, and I start going to things like, for instance, which one's a good one that I could use? Like the Galapagos, not even Galapagos tortoises, like marine iguanas in the Galapagos. Like marine iguanas, their last common ancestor that they had was mainland iguana species that existed specifically in places like Colombia and Brazil. When they got separated on an island, they speciated. They became, since those members only bred on the Galapagos, and they evolved within a particular niche so that they won't have to compete on those islands, they speciated.
Cool. Wait,
Or
what are the Komodo dragons? What did they evolve from? What's their like common ancestor?
Duranids. They're just the largest species of monitor lizard. They're a great example of insular gigantism, because on the islands where they're from, they're the apex predator.
That's pretty cool.
So they just got bigger.
Yeah, there's like giant rabbits and little woolly mammoths and stuff like that.
And like
It's
you have like hand-sized cockroaches as well.
What was it? The huge sloths they used to have in Australia before everyone killed them or unalive.
Well, it wasn't a sloth. It was a giant wombat. But like,
wombats. Yeah. Wombat.
You can also draw that parallel with Homo florensis and just the elephants that also had to contend with the smaller environment. So they both shrank, right? The smaller of the species survived. So that's another really good parallel.
And then, like, when I brought up wolves and coyotes, when it comes to fertile hybrids, wolves and coyotes speciated rather recently. Like, they're two distinct species, but since they speciated extremely recently to fill in different niches, which is the last common ancestor with wolves and coyotes, one group became a mesopredator, evolved to tackle smaller prey, while one became an apex predator, taking down larger prey.
Cool.
Because it was recent, they don't have the necessary mechanisms in place to prevent fertile hybridization. So that's why wolves and coyotes can interbreed, and this is how we get coy wolves.
Would a
Same
good
thing with
example of
dogs.
this be Homo erectus, Homo neanderthalis, and Homo sapiens all existing at the same time?
Yeah, and like the Denisovans, I don't know how to pronounce it, but those ones.
Yeah. Denisovans?
Yep.
Well, it's like
Yeah, there's the tomato there, Denisovans. But Tom,
Or dragon man, Homo longi, because that's their species.
So
will this count as evidence?
have you met Oblivion before?
Who, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom's a friend of mine.
Oh, okay. No, he was just. It seemed like he was unaware of your usual vocal timbre.
No. Tom is a friend of mine. He's good. He knows me.
Okay.
The fact that lots of the time when we introduce a new species to an area that didn't have that kind of supports the evolution theory, right? Because when you're bringing an alien species into a area where everything is suited to its environment, it causes so much damage because the things there aren't equipped to deal with it, right?
Yes. When I do my conservation lives and I talk about invasive species, the thing is, when environments themselves are localized systems that try to achieve equilibrium. So the things that evolve within those environments are suffering under the similar pressures as everything else. And because of that, they achieve a form of equilibrium where things work out the way that they do. When you introduce organisms that are not native there, but are very successful in those environments, they wreak havoc because now you just add in another factor and now it's out of balance.
Or you're screwing the equilibrium. Oh, and I see Matt Adams is in the chat, in the comments. Hi, Matt. How are you doing? You strange theist.
So, by saying try to, you're not implying that there's like an intelligence behind it, right?
No. It's like it's not like, oh, something is trying to make everything right. It's more on the lines of everything that was there went through this. It's kind of like, I try to make the analogy of like kids in a school. Like you have all the kids are in a school. They know the teachers, they know the classrooms, where to go, who the people are, their friend groups, yada, yada, yada. But then you bring in the new kid at school, and now everything's like, okay, everything needs to change because now we have a new variable now.
Okay, yeah, that's a good analogy. This is completely unrelated, but I was learning about this and I was kind of curious on what you guys think about this. Like, are biofilms considered like multicellular organisms or not? Like the massive kind of colonies of bacteria that each have like specialized roles?
Those you mean organisms, right?
Oh, wait, you mean siphonophores?
General, just biofilms.
Yeah. They're eukaryote. Well, it depends on it. Because you have things like, well, I'm not going to use the term protist because that's outdated. But like you have things like algae.
Well, yeah, but I mean in particular of the prokaryotes that form these biofilms. Because like, would that not be a multicellular organism?
I would argue yes. Like, I don't have too much detail on it unless you talk about things like siphonophores. But like, even then, siphonophores are not prokaryotes; they're eukaryotes.
So the other thing, because it seems like it would fit the definition of everything. Because they got their own tissues, they evolved, they got like quorum sensing, which is the coolest thing ever, and they've got all these different things. And it seems like the only reason they're not considered it is just because they're not a eukaryote. I don't know how it works. I know like where you draw the line.
Yeah, they do not consider because since they're prokaryote, they don't have a nucleus that contains their DNA as well as organelles, and either a cell wall or a cell membrane. They lack that.
They have a cell
That's
membrane.
the only reason why. They lack the cell wall or membrane like a eukaryote does.
Do they not have their own cell walls like peptoglycan?
Yeah, but it's not like a cell wall like you see in like an animal cell. I mean, cell membrane like you see with an animal cell, or a cell wall like you see with a plant.
Wait, how is it not the same? Because it's got a cell membrane and it's got the layer on the outside. It's got like the peptoglycan and like the different layers. It's gram, positive, and negative.
I think I have a diagram to show this. Give me 1 second.
No way. This dude's a real biologist.
Who?
That's awesome.
Biologist?
He said he was studying anthropology, I think. No. Fossils? Is that called anthropology?
Yeah, not yet. I'm trying to go back to school so I can get my degrees in it. But like vertebrate paleontology, ecology, conservational biology, as well as linguistics.
I'm doing genetics as my degree.
Cool.
still-
I think you're really good at it, dude.
Thank you.
I won't. I don't know.
Yeah, I got my results soon. I did pretty good, so I'm hoping, that I do okay next year. Yeah, it's kind of cool to learn about the stuff. I know, I forgot the name, but they recently, was it a type of taxidermy? They found a eukaryote that doesn't use oxygen, and it doesn't even have mitochondria, and yet it is a full eukaryote.
Oh, let me see if I could pull this up. Like, there's a whole diagram that I use to discuss to distinguish the two. Give me 1 second. Let me see if it'll work. Will it work? Snap, can I get big screen? Damn. It's dark, I can't see it. Let me just use a different one.
What's that? Oh. Yeah, I kind of understand, but it feels like there's a lot of exceptions with all of these because there's no barrier between,
Yep. Like, microbiology really isn't my thing. I just use this to distinguish the two. And me personally, I think it's due to the fact that when it comes to eukaryotes and why they wouldn't consider it is because prokaryotes have a capsule.
Yeah.
The
I love
idea
that
that,
cool stuff.
the idea that
Have you
anything
guys?
would fit like the strict lines, right? The idea that anything about like Plato's like straight, we create these kind of barriers, right? We create where we're going to class something.
Yeah, like
I don't-
nature does
I
not.
don't know
Nature does not care.
any model of any.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would love to.
Yeah,
make
yeah,
a
but I
better-
don't know anyone like
Can I ask a
first
question,
humans
Bridget?
are faulty. Yeah.
I would love
Humans
to
are
make
faulty,
a better
right?
philosophical
So why would our
argument
categories ever?
than that one dude did.
Not philosophical, but also on the same note, there's a really cool thing that I learned about called Loki Archaeota. It's a bullshit name. Basically, it's a type of Archaea, but it's also got, I think, 5% eukaryotic DNA. So it's got like actin, other stuff as well, like stuff that makes our muscles, like the tubules, all that kind of stuff. And it's also got 30% prokaryotic DNA and like Archaea stuff. And they think
Yeah, I
it's like
think
the
I
thing
remember
between.
reading that up because there's a paper recently going over the origin of eukaryotes and how they came about. And apparently there's a relationship between Asgardia Archaea,
Yeah,
Heimdall Archaea with prokaryotes.
I love that. They found one, they called it Loki Archaea, and they found another one and called it Thor Archaea.
I love the fact that most of Archaea descriptions that we have, we just named them off of also of Norse paganism. It's great.
Yeah, I mean,
Great. They can't think of new words.
oh, they're just massive nerds.
We're just nerds.
We've already done it with the moons. Like, well, how many more things are we going to just name after gods?
I mean,
Dude,
to
if
be
I
fair,
discover it, I'm naming it after myself every time.
well, to be fair, I mean, if you go into my field when it comes to paleontology, we literally got a dinosaur named Gojirosaurus.
Wait, what?
You're supposed to have things for you, not by you. You're not supposed to name things.
Yeah,
after
yeah,
yourself.
I know, I'm joking.
That's the,
Like
what
there's
normal-
there's Gojirosaurus. There's a dinosaur we named Thanos.
Why
There's
you named it? Did you like get it? Did you discover it?
No. I'm just going off the descriptions. They're hilarious. But yeah, like we got Kaiju Titan. I think there's an arthropod that we named after Ultraman. There's an Anomalocarid that was recently described, and we named it after Mothra. There's another fossil.
That has to be like a loop.
There's an arthropod that was recently described that we named Bruce Banner.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Like, we're just nerds.
I think it would be quite cool is I want to just get the gunk in my uni pond and just like see if I can find a new species. It's like some random bacteria that kills you immediately.
Like, yeah, we're just nerds.
Fair enough. Alright, cool.
No, I definitely felt that, but my obsession is to like try to fucking recreate the what is it, like redo abiogenesis, right? But actually make a cell and let that shit just like create like a closed, like a
Snaps, we're doing that right now.
That would be cool.
The paper's
Yeah,
on
I'm-
it, you fuck.
Fuck, Scribble, let me finish. I don't care if we're already doing it right now. I'm talking about when they actually make the fucking cell. Damn. They haven't made the cell yet. So I'm talking about when they make when they get all the pieces to the puzzle, right? When they're actually to make a cell, start that bitch from fucking,
I think right now they've got all the pieces. I mean, in my opinion, because I'm doing meta-analysis on abiogenesis.
They haven't been able to make a cell though, I thought.
No,
I'm not
we,
sure.
There yet, you're right. It's not quite.
I mean, we can. The problem is we're just
There's no
going to do
funding.
the natural way through abiogenesis. And Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. The natural way to observe it, we really can't because the amount of time that it needs in order for that to take place.
Probably not, to be honest. If you have the stuff, because all the stuff you need, you've got like what to make the lipid. All you'd need is carbon monoxide and hydrogen.
We're
and that
doing
will
this right
pretty
now in the lab,
quickly
guys.
form it. Yeah, and then you get the early cell membranes. They found some studies in 2024 that showed that just leaving that out for not even too long, like a couple months, was then able to chemically evolve it into the biphosphate, like the kind of cell wall we see today, or cell membrane, and just did it by itself with no intervention. All the stuff, like the amyloids go really quickly. They form. RNA pretty quick. I mean, it breaks down quick, but it forms quick if they join with the amyloids. They'll kind of stay together. But from all the studies, it shows to happen really, really rapidly.
Yep. And GT just did a video on a paper that also demonstrated and showed that for one of the necessary components in order to jumpstart the processes was a reaction to silica.
I disagree. I don't know about that. Actually, I want to read that paper because I didn't know if you needed the silica reaction. Like, I don't know which part of it you need.
Well, they need the silicate bases, right?
Yeah, but isn't
Yeah,
that the whole
it's like
thing
a
with amyloid?
catalyst or something like that.
Isn't that? Don't they provide the thing? Don't they
I have
provide
to get
stable binding?
Next time I
to
see
RNA going on?
GT, I'll get them. Next time I see GT, I'll get the paper. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's like
What are we doing in a lab currently?
Abiogenesis.
oh,
Just gonna say, Snapped. I am currently consuming an adult beverage at 12 in the afternoon.
fair play, mate.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yep.
Why do you need to justify?
I'm on my third.
I don't need to justify this. I'm a grown ass man. I can do this if I want.
But Oblivion, I have a question though.
It's my liver to get cirrhosis with.
Oblivion, I have a
Yeah.
question. What's the difference between archaea and a bacterium? Like, what classifies them?
I
to
got
be
another
different?
diagram for that.
Oh yeah, so difference between archaea is usually archaea have their own unique cell membranes, completely different to the biphospholipid like membrane that we have. They've got their own kind of head, and I think it's single layer as well. They're also massive like thermophiles. You find them near hydrothermal vents, so you can't really take them out anywhere. And they've got like a lot of heat shock proteins, so they're very good at dealing with heat, but they're not very good at being moved environments. And they also are genetically very, very different. They're like the two different things of the prokaryotes.
I mean, can we like know if they're like what's this word?
Sticky boy Chris. Hey.
Dang, I just lost my question.
It was about what? Didn't you ask your fuck? Wasn't your question the difference between you? No, not you.
No. There was a follow up question to it.
Oh,
Yeah, I got an image. These are all different archaea.
Yeah, I mean there are archaea and like bacteria that kind of come together, and it's kind of a mix of both of them, which is the thing we're talking about with the Loki archaeote, all that kind of stuff. Where they do share a lot of stuff because they came from the same place. Archaea probably came first, and then like bacteria kind of split off from there.
So archaea came first.
Archaea, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
archaea is like ancient,
Yeah, like archaea as we know it is the primitive form of life that we know of.
That's like literally like archaic,
Yeah, it's in the name.
That answered my second question. I was about to ask what came first.
Yeah, like it would have been archaea first, which then gave rise to prokaryotes. Eukaryotes are the newer kids on the block. The all the studies right now in regards to these are like how did eukaryotes come about, and it looks like, as far as the research that I've done, that it's a hybridized process with archaea and prokaryotes.
Yeah, and some of the eukaryotic things as well, because it's really cool. I think it was mostly Archaea, but it was kind of like a mix between them with the whole thing you were talking about before, like the Asgards, Iota, I don't know the fucking word.
Yeah, Asgardia Archaea and Heimdalli Archaea.
Oblivion, I've like a question referring to like CRISPR and shit. So, how likely in the next few decades are we? Because I know we have the, in air quotes, dire wolves, but
they're not dire wolves.
No, I know I said in air quotes dire wolves, because I don't feel like saying the long ass alternative. But yeah, what is the likelihood that we'll start seeing, like, for example, like a crested gecko mixed with the fucking morning gecko, right? Like something like that.
So the thing is when we are talking about this, like going into the science fiction, like CRISPR is not this magic device that allows us to do crazy stuff, which it does allow us to do crazy stuff. But what CRISPR does is it just uses the same mechanisms viruses do to infect cells so that we can make modifications. But even that has limitations, because like when you have particular organisms that have very distinct genetics, not even as a species level, but even by genus and maybe even by family, you like the genetics get wonky to the point where like they won't work.
Yeah.
Because the thing about genetics is, even though it kind of seems chaotic, like it literally is just protein chemical soup, but the ingredients are put in a way that allows it to work.
The result of like a radical hybridization like that.
Real quick, how about that in CRISPR? No. I did some research on my own into CRISPR, because a lot of people would be like CRISPR this, CRISPR that, but they don't actually know what CRISPR is.
So, can you get more specific on what you meant by that? By like the soup, and that certain things wouldn't work.
So, the best example I could do is the Chickenosaurus project. The Chickenosaurus project is the project where we're trying to make birds, specifically a chicken, have traits of their ancestry of being a non-avian dinosaur. What it turns out is, for instance, like when they were doing the early days, the first things that they did was the formation of teeth. Like what genes are necessary for teeth, if birds have the necessary genes, so on and so forth, which all birds do. They have all 6 genes that are required to have teeth.
What
specifically,
genes are they? I have no idea.
Yeah, they have all 6 genes for coding for teeth, enamel-coated teeth.
What are the genes?
But the problem is, they're so recessive because birds lost their teeth early, that when those genes were activated, it didn't result in a living fetus.
So did they ever find like a bird with atavism that had teeth on their beaks?
Yes, there were a few, but they're extinct. Now birds that have well, actually no, I take that back, because hummingbirds do.
No,
but
I read a paper recently that showed that project managed to get.
Yeah, except here's the thing: they're not enamel teeth; they're keratin teeth.
Are you referring to the ones that have that look like Archaeopteryx as babies, and then they lose those features?
No, that's the Hoatzin. They go under a different process, but they don't have teeth.
I'm almost certain they had. I'm about to look it up.
Yeah, they don't have teeth. They're the ones, they have digits, but then they gradually lose them. But no, like birds essentially had to re-evolve teeth. But the thing is, they don't have enamel teeth anymore. Their teeth are keratin teeth.
Doesn't it have a lot to do with like genetic stability over time? because like even introducing those gene changes, the effects of that over generations are unpredictable.
Yeah,
It's
like
a
I
trade-off.
said,
It's an evolutionary trade-off.
yeah, like once you have a set of traits that become extremely recessive, at this point they're only there for foundation. They're only there for foundational, meaning they're required for the formation of the organism themselves. But if activated, they just won't work.
So there's like I think the incubation time of the egg would have to be greater to actually form enamel-based teeth.
Well, not even that. Not the incubation time. The processes around their development has to be changed because when they did that, when they activated the genes for teeth, they developed Sonic the Hedgehog syndrome.
Is it like the same when like humans when we like developing that we have like a tail and it just slowly like emerges?
No, because that tail will be vestigial. When I talk about like how recessive this is, like I said, they developed Sonic the Hedgehog syndrome, which is a bunch of folded proteins. So when they activated those particular genes, it caused a fuck up in the coding proteins, which caused this. Which, if you don't know Sonic the Hedgehog syndrome, look it up. Especially with skull morphology, it's horrifying.
Yeah, it's nasty looking.
It's horrifying. It makes me want to vomit every single time I see it.
Is it really gross? Or could you explain it to me, or should I look at pictures?
So,
look.
Just look
okay,
it up, man.
so if Sonic the Hedgehog syndrome infects genes that express themselves phenotypically, it got its name because it will cause your eye sockets to fuse together to be one whole, but you have both eyes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh. It's really
Yeah.
funny. That's a messed up name to give it. It's because the name of the gene, right? I just searched it up.
Yeah, it's folded proteins. Like it's gotten the name because of that. That's what happens phenotypically, but on genetic level, when you look at the models for it, it's red, blue, and white.
Is it caused by the Sonic the Hedgehog gene?
The activation of their teeth in birds? Yes.
Yeah, and Sonic the Hedgehog syndrome, is it caused by that gene?
Yep.
Then I thought that got its name just because the first guy discovered it, he just saw it spiky and went Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. That's why it got its name, but also because phenotypically, yeah, it could cause your eye sockets to fuse together, but you have both your eyeballs.
The gene is called SHH, so it's just like a
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like single point mutation that is able to change like feathers to scales.
Yep, because hair, feathers, and scales share the same gene.
It's like it would be really extreme. It's not like getting someone to have a vestigial tail. It's like getting someone to have hair all over their body, have like a 3-foot prehensile tail.
Like
And it's too far
it
back.
causes developmental issues, and it's due to the fact that these genes are so recessive, they're non-functional.
Well, they're functional in other ways, in ways that we can't like
Yeah.
perceive that are expressed. That's why it causes those issues.
And also, Tom, real quick, the genes for teeth that they have. Hold on, let me pull this up.
Was it like WNT or something?
No,
Like FDA?
it starts with the T.
Fibroblast growth factor.
Yeah, hold on, give me 1 second. I need to get the genes for teeth.
I've got a question for you, Tom, when we're done with the teeth conversation.
Venom?
What's that?
Yeah, what's up?
How does epigenetic influence present differently based on the severity, or is it always affect the same part of the genome?
Well, it depends because by default you have a lot of epigenetics. It's how things are controlled. You know, all your cells have the same genes, so epigenetics controls what does what. It's just randomly these can turn on and off. Or even it's a funny actually like memory or muscle memory, all these things, specific changes
I got
to the
it. It's,
epigenetics. Because a lot, you know, it's a thing that can change a lot, whereas DNA you want to keep as stable as possible. So, but there's also a lot of research that needs to be done. But epigenetics, yeah, it can be passed on, which is very cool. But it's also, some things naturally are going to be the same because you don't want your brain producing stomach acid.
Real quick, I got them. The genes for teeth are the BMP4, BITX2, PAX9, and SHH.
What was the last one?
Sonic the Hedgehog, SHH.
Oh, one for that.
Yep. They also have They also have the inactive. They also have the genes, for DSPP, ENAM, AMELX, and AMTN.
Oh, AMTM. Oh my god.
Yeah, they have them. They're just inactive.
BMP, is that when that's active? That isn't that inhibitory one when it's active? It stops growth of a certain thing.
Yeah,
Don't you have to
BMP4.
disable BMP when you're doing neural stem cell stuff?
Yeah, so like BMP4 is the genes necessary for the production of teeth, specifically their growth.
What's it stand for? So just quickly, I got all this different thing.
Let's see, BMP4. Hold on one second. Bishop, no, over there. Bye. Let's see, born morphogenic protein 4.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, birds have these. Like, they have all the genes necessary for teeth. It's just that they just became recessive.
So what? How are they inhibited?
Hold on, let me get this back. The gene on DSPP, ENAM, AMELX, and AMT, they became inactive, and the genes apparently, with their inactivation, I'm trying to find the paper that discusses it. Let's see. Research identified the inactivation mutation in genes to dentin, in enamel. Let's see. Because University of California did a study on this.
Cool.
It's due to a mutation that involves dentin, that instead of the formation for teeth, shuts down the genes to produce the teeth covered in enamel and repurposes them to formulate beaks.
Okay, so it's teeth or beaks. So
Yeah.
is that one gene that's responsible for inactivating all the other ones like BMP, ESSH?
There's a mutation that's happening towards it. It's let's see. All tooth of enamel invertebrates descend from ancestors with enamel capped teeth. In the case of birds, it is theropod dinosaurs. Modern birds use 20 beaks instead of teeth, and part of their digestive tract to grind up processed food. Tooth formation in invertebrates is a complicated process that involves many different genes. Of these genes, 6 are essential for the proper formation of dentin, which is DSPP.
So what, is dentin the thing that makes the teeth? What's dentin?
Yeah, dentin is what your tooth is made up.
Okay, that makes sense. So
And
what
then
activates the genes themselves?
Yeah, and then you have 5 genes that are necessary for enamel, which is AMTN, AMBN, ENAM, AMELX, and MMP20.
Yeah. Okay. So MP20. So are these
let's
mutated
see.
or are these inactivated?
Let's see. There is inactivation mutations in both dentin-related DSPP and enamel-related genes that shut them. Okay, that indicate the genetic machinery necessary for tooth formation was lost.
Huh.
So
So
yeah,
you've-
it's a mutation just causes it to shut down.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
Which also makes sense because the current hypothesis as to why beaks formed in the first place is due to the formation of the egg tooth.
Lets you escape the egg.
Yeah, so there's 3 different types of egg teeth. There is a calcified egg tooth. There is an egg tooth that is a tooth. And there's a third option where it's both. And the one where it's both only exists in one group of mammals, and we all could guess what it is.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's the
I didn't know
platypus.
that. I learned something new today.
Yeah, it's the platypus. Platypus and echidnas have the one that it's both a calcified as well as an actual tooth.
they're just weird. Anyway,
What's genes responsible for the platypus thing? For the
I'm not going into
electrophoresis?
platypi. I'm really sorry. They're so archaic and they don't make sense.
They can like sense electricity. That's sick.
Yep. So can
Platypus
echidnas,
can
and
jump
also
20
echidnas
feet in
don't
the
have
air.
stomachs.
Oblivion, I have a quick question. So, isn't it okay? So, well, it's actually a two-parter. So, the first part, isn't it true that placental birth only evolved because of a virus?
Endogenous retrovirus.
Okay. And two, say all placental mammals went extinct, right? So, like, well, and marsupials, because fuck it, why not? And the only two, I guess, mammalian life forms left were, echidnas and platypi. Do you think that they would be able to re-evolve, or not re-evolve, but evolve like something similar to placental birth, or would that just be like way too difficult for them?
At this point, it'd probably be difficult, and if they were to evolve, it'd be similar to like what you see in like rattlesnakes.
Yeah. So like, okay,
Where
so like
they will have the egg, except the egg will hatch internally.
Wait, so is that like guppies as well? Because I know they're fish that give live birth. Do they have a placenta?
No. Well, kinda. It's weird. So, like, I know, because in sharks, essentially, because they give birth to live young, it's kind of like rattlesnakes where they do have an egg. It's just that the egg gets absorbed into the body, and like it's just weird. Like it gets absorbed in the body, and they have the yolk that they absorb, and then at that point, this is where you get like sand tigers, where their babies eat each other inside the womb.
That's crazy. So that's like a halfway point, right?
Yeah. But like, yeah, like they have eggs. It's just that the egg itself just gets absorbed back into the body,
That's kind
and
of
then they just pop out. But then you have like amniotes, amniotes. So like reptiles, where the ones that give birth to live young, like yeah, like the egg gets, they have the egg, but they don't lay it. It hatches inside of their body. The egg, the offspring comes out, and what the mother will do is she would expel, the amniotic fluid and the egg shell and just eat it.
fair enough. Good calcium, I guess.
Yeah.
Shit, you gotta get back them proteins somehow after giving birth. Shit. Can't beat them, eat them, I guess. Or whatever the fuck they said. But yeah, I think it's really interesting how there's chameleons that live, forget where, but they've evolved oviviparity specifically because it's so fucking cold there. And they can't lay eggs because the eggs won't hatch.
Yeah, like the transition to live birth is very interesting, especially when it comes into ecology. It's just that there are so many processes that allow this to happen.
It allows like the movement into warmer climates, right? That's usually the main condition. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it allows the movement into cooler climates, but also what it is, it cuts down the amount of time necessary to have offspring, because now, like when you have laying animals, they need the energy required to make eggs and have the embryo inside of said egg. Then they have to expel the energy laying the egg, and then they have to, do different processes to incubate said eggs that allows them to hatch. When you have live birth, that literally cuts it down, because all you have to do now is gestate the offspring and expel it, and then depending on whether or not you are a K-selected species, M-selected, or S-selected, like, that's how you raise your offspring.
been really cool. I've got to go head off now. But
See you, Tom.
I hope you have a good day.
See you,
Tom. I'm gonna drop down and go live, but I will say this: the easiest way to tell if someone doesn't know evolution is to ask them if they know what K selected, M selected, and S selected species are.
Okay.
Because for those who don't know, those are different types of parenting in nature. K selected species are species that have a lot of babies, but they don't take care of them. M selected are species that raise their offspring and usually there's always exceptions, but usually has fewer offspring. And then you have S selected, where it's a hybrid of both, and that only exists in invertebrates, specifically eusocial insects.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like things are getting better, and it's like, how is having a bunch of babies and just hoping that at least one of them survives, how is that better than raising offspring? And now you have to expend so much energy raising and defending the offspring into adulthood.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it just works. Like, hey, raising your offspring successful? Okay, then. Is popping out a bunch of kids and just be like, hope you win the rat race.
Yeah, it's like in a world with no competition, that would work really great. Like with unlimited resources or something.
Case with K selected species, that'd actually be disadvantageous for a place with a lot of resources.
Really?
Yeah, because again, it's having the reason why K selection exists is due to competition. Let's have a lot of babies, and out of like let's say 1,000, at least 5 will make it to adulthood. Just to do it again, because you're banking on the fact that not all of them are going to live. When you have a place with reduction of resources, it's actually better if you're M selected. Or at the very least, like partial M selection, where you raise your offspring up until a very certain point, and then they just leave them on their own.
Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, the easiest way for me to tell if somebody doesn't know anything about evolution is just asking them what the definition of evolution is, and then they'll just give like some bullshit ass explanation.
Yeah, actually, yeah. A good example, like partial M selection, is like, have you ever heard of volcano birds?
No.
Yeah, no.
Volcano birds are very interesting birds. They live on highly volcanic islands in Indonesia. They build nests underground because since the area is volcanic, the soil is always at a constant temperature. So they'll make their nest by digging out holes in the sand, lay their eggs, and they only lay a few eggs, and they ditch them. The offspring raise themselves because they live on an island with no natural predators.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I've seen them. Them are cool as shit. Yeah, they basically like they kind of like just leave their eggs like they're turtles. Like that's really fucking cool. Like I never knew that there were even birds that lay their eggs in the dirt, like actually buried them, type of shit. Like,
I mean, there's birds that do that, but volcano birds, what makes them unique is they don't raise their offspring.
Yeah, they cashed out. Their environment isn't incubating.
Yep. They're like child support. What's that?
Jesus. Fuck raising my kid.
Wait, you raise your kids?
They can figure that out. Like, I have 1,000, bro.
Shit, I had to figure it out. They can figure it out.
She's like, do you teach them any life skills? I was like, you teach them life skills? Like, they're called life skills. You learn them by going through life.
You teach your kids?
Teach him how not to die. That defeats the whole purpose of having so many.
Oh wow, that does.
Hey, as someone who's studying it, paleontology, what is your opinion on the dodo bird? A lot of
Wait,
people don't like them.
on what?
The dodo bird.
Yeah, what about the dodo?
What's your opinion? Do you like them or not?
Yeah, I like them. They're interesting birds.
Aren't they
Like
just?
Atlantic pigeons.
They were the largest species of pigeon.
I want to taste it, bro. It makes me so mad. They hogged all of it.
Actually, we have multiple notes by both French and Portuguese sailors. Dodos tasted terrible.
And they ate them all anyway.
No, they didn't.
Bro.
So, the reason why the dodo went extinct wasn't because they were hunted to extinction. It was the introduction of invasive species.
Oh yeah.
So did sailors hunt dodos? Yes. We have multiple reports on it. They just didn't do it often because they tasted terrible.
It was the
So
rat,
what took out the dodo was the introduction of invasive species. Cats, rats, dogs, and monkeys.
Oh yeah, no. That's
Like,
messed up.
we're talking about an animal that lived on an island with no natural predators, and you introduced predators.
If people just didn't used to understand ecology at all, this will be fine. Dude,
It'll just come back. It'll just grow back out of the dirt.
well, the fish
Or
come
you,
out
could
of
be
mud,
like,
right?
or you could be like Thomas Jefferson and not believe in extinction.
Believe in extinction?
Yes. Thomas Jefferson. Hold on a second. Here you go, buddy. But yeah, Thomas Jefferson, one of the reasons as to why he had, the expeditions, mapping out the Louisiana Purchase is because he himself, as a researcher, saw these bones of mammoths, mastodons, and giant ground sloths. He just did not believe that they were extinct. He didn't believe extinction was a thing. He believed that there were pockets of the world where animals could go and hide and are untouched by man.
Isn't that like Journey to the Center of the Earth or something?
That's what it was. That is what Journey to the Center of the Earth is inspired by.
I mean, he isn't all the way wrong. Just like about the mammoth part, like yeah, the mammoths were extinct, but like I mean, there definitely was pockets of the world that were untouched. I wouldn't say that animals went there and hid from man. They were just
that's what he believed.
No, I know.
That's why he had all these expeditions, because he was like, go out there and look for these animals.
So wait, was he looking for fucking mammoths in like where? You said like in the Louisiana Purchase. So like, what states does that like encompass?
Louisiana Purchase was essentially everything past, everything past Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
So the entirety of the middle of America and Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was west of Utah French or Canadian?
West of Utah was the Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah, for a second I thought you was about to say that he was looking for fucking woolly mammoths in the South.
He did.
Oh fuck.
Lewis and Clark was not the only expedition. There were 8 in total. And they were all exploring different parts of the Louisiana Purchase.
So I imagine him like getting up late and opening a letter, reading it by candlelight, and being so disappointed he didn't find a giant ground sloth.
No, he wasn't really disappointed. He was just like, they're out there, they're just hiding. But he was happy when they were when they had the documentation of the bison.
Yeah.
Like bison, wolves. When jaguar still existed in most of America, all these other animals, like, they still existed, like elk. So, like, it furthered his resolve because he's like, oh, these giant animals, like, we thought they were extinct. Like, ha, I was right.
Jaguar.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the mountain lion, right?
No, I'm talking about jaguars.
Yeah, they migrated south, right? After industrialization.
No, they were hunted to extinction.
Oh, what?
And
it was an American jaguar?
yes, jaguars are still classified as North America's largest cat.
I've only ever heard of the North American cheetah, but that was like way before humans even came here.
Jaguars went extinct in America in the 60s.
What?
I gotta look that up. Hold on, because I need to see what the fuck this looks
The
like.
last jaguar was shot in California in the 60s.
So the jaguars that currently exist today, are they a different species or are they just different
No,
populations?
same species, Panthera onca.
Hmm.
Okay, so Panthera onca, which is the jaguar, they roamed pretty much almost the entirety of the southern United States. They roamed California, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, all of Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Florida, Mississippi, like all the southern states. The furthest north was Kentucky. That was the furthest north jaguars inhabited North America. During the Pleistocene, the last ice age, there was a larger species called the giant jaguar, and it roamed as far north as South Dakota.
That's crazy.
And this was a jaguar the size of a lion.
People lived with the giant jaguar?
It's the same.
Yep.
The one that was he. Oh my god, the one that was here. It's the same species as the one in South America, right?
Yes.
Okay, then
The
yeah.
giant
I
jaguar
don't know
was
why.
the giant jaguar was a different species.
Yeah.
But the jaguar that inhabited the southern United States is the same species as in Brazil.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. Because I don't know why, but I thought you were talking like something from fucking Africa. I'm like, how the fuck?
Like no,
But,
like
yeah, no.
I'm talking like jaguars.
Yeah.
Like this is their range. Like I said, they're still classified as North America's largest cat. It's just that the last one was shot in California was a female back in the 60s. Like they were hunted to extinction, the same reason why wolves were hunted to near extinction.
So is there still a niche for them? Like, could they theoretically, like, could you get like like a couple of jaguars, like from Brazil, and then just like put them here?
Yes, and there already are jaguars here.
Yeah, when I looked it up, I seen a thing that said that like I don't know how many were found in like Arizona, but I didn't know if it was real or not.
As of right now, the total jaguars that are seen in North America are 8, but they're all males, except for one which might be a female, but we don't know.
Ooh, that's hella unfortunate. Damn.
Yeah. The thing is the ones that we do know, which are males, these are rogue nomadic males. So these were males that were kicked out of their territories, and they just migrated north, like El Jefe.
So there's a bunch of incel jaguars in the southern United States.
I mean, El Jefe's a beast. Like he's taking out like Mexican black bears.
Damn.
Like he is actively taking out Mexican black bears, and he is good at it. But yeah, like theoretically you can, because again they went extinct in the 60s. The niche is still there. They're an apex predator. The problem is they're a big apex predator. They're the third largest cat.
Right.
You also bite people, right?
Jaguars
That
have
would
no. Jaguars like to avoid people, but they have no qualms taking out people. But we're talking about a cat that can easily take down most cattle.
Ugh.
Big problem right there.
Yeah, like we're talking about a cat where males could reach like over 300 pounds.
If you heard like the call of a jaguar walking in the woods in Arizona at night, like you're cooked, bro. Back it up. You can't run, dude.
Yeah, you're getting packed up past tense.
Like it's the third largest cat, and it's the cat that has the strongest bite force per pound of all cats.
Oh, all cats?
Yeah, they have the strongest bite.
I kind of, I don't want to say I agree with them, but like, you know, at some point when you're like industrializing and think of the late 1800s, like, what are you gonna do about that? Because there's not really an easy solution, right? I mean, is there?
Yeah, the same thing that we do with predators now: anti-predator proof fencing, livestock guardian dogs, better security on your livestock. Like yeah, like we do this with predators today. The issue was with jaguars was they were extirpated because livestock, and secondly because people with little dicks wanted. Bitch, stop rubbing your head on it. People with little dicks wanted to mount something cool on their wall.
Oh, that's so lame, dude. People go to Africa and like shoot giraffes. It makes me sick, dude.
So like, here's the thing when it comes to Africa, because I'm pro hunting. I am a hunter myself. Here's the thing when it comes to Africa. It is a bitch and a half to get a license to hunt anything in Africa.
Yeah.
It's a bitch and a half. And then on top of that, usually when you see them hunting certain animals like lions, they're taking, or elephants, they're taking out problem animals.
Yeah, and doesn't it like, I don't like it, but it's not a bad thing really, because when they allow people to hunt on reservations, it actually funds anti-poaching projects, right?
Yep. And again, they're taking out problem animals. So like if you have like, let's say you're in a region, you're trying to bring back lions. We all know what lions do when they take over prides.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Lions would do that regardless of taking out a pride or not. You will have nomadic male coalitions that would just go into prides and unalive the offspring, just remove competition.
Yeah.
So if you have a coalition of males that are actively doing this to a population you're trying to help increase, then you can give a permit, which is done by lottery. So like there could be like 100 admissions, but only one person will get it.
Ooh, that's a good system.
Yeah, it's lottery. We do this here with some animals, but like you'll get it by lottery, where if you do, you could go there and take out these problem males, or just these problem individuals.
Yeah, if someone gave me like, if someone gave me the opportunity to like, you get this big elephant gun. And there's an elephant that's going around like killing all the baby elephants. I probably wouldn't feel like morally reprehensible about doing that.
Yeah. Plus, the meat itself is given to local villages.
W.
But yeah, like it's a lot. Like there's a lot that goes in there. This is why a quote unquote cheaper alternative is high fence hunting, which I disagree with.
Oh, what is high fence hunting?
So high fence hunting or high fence ranches are essentially, they're all over the South. They're essentially this. We're going to take these, you want to hunt so-and-so animal, but you don't have the money nor the resources to go overseas to do that. So you could come here where we have the same animals. They're in a something thousands of acres of land, and you can hunt them here.
Ugh.
Like it's a box, like it's a giant ass box, but it's still a box.
Yeah. Wouldn't that isn't the exotic animal trade like All poachers?
No.
How do
So the thing with high fence ranches is that they're not exporting these animals here; they're bred here.
Yeah.
So these were animals that were obtained from like zoos closing down, or back in the 1800s when we were exporting exotic animals, and they were raised here, and these are their descendants, and they're raised semi-wild. Do they have human
Like Joe
contact?
Exotic.
Yeah. Yeah, like they're raised here, they're born, bred here. It's just that some animals are obtained illegally. But like the true high fence ranches here, like they're under so much security. And I talk about the true ones. The reason why there's a lot of invasive exotics running around is the people who don't manage them. But anyway. But yeah, like they have these animals to raise semi-wild, and what they'll do is a lot of them are chipped. So they're like, you go to these ranches, right? And like you sign up, you put in like a fee, and you ask, okay, and they'd be like, where you're looking to hunt. And then it's like, hypothetically, let's see, I want to hunt a wildebeest. Okay, which species? Blue wildebeest. Okay? So you put in a fee for the particular animal, you put in a fee for the weapon you're going to use, rifle or bow. And they would so then you will be lodged up, and then they'll take you on a truck to the location, to the approximate location of where the animal is that you want to hunt. You only hunt that particular individual. And yeah, you do it. You take it out, and boom, you got your exotic animal trophy.
That was lame.
Yes, I know, it's unsportsmanlike. That's why I disagree with it. The only thing that I agree with high fence ranches is high fence ranches for hunting are also used as breeding facilities for endangered animals. One of the examples is with the scimitar horned oryx. This is an animal. I actually have an image of it. One second. Yeah, I got it. So this right here is the scimitar horned oryx. They were native to northeastern Africa and the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Afghanistan, as well as places like Egypt, Nigeria, all these different places. During the 80s up until the early 2000s, these animals were extinct in the wild due to poaching and habitat loss.
Yeah, I think the only
Like
place I've
completely
seen
eradicated. But the species still existed in high fence ranches because these animals were exported during the early 1900s to these high fence ranches to be hunted. And again, they're semi-wild. So these high fence ranches got together and collab where they acted as breeding facilities for these animals, and they were re-released in the wild, and now their populations are going back up. There's over 1,000 in the wild now.
Yeah, that's great. Because, like, the only place I've seen that animal is on a head mount. Like, specifically for the horns, right? Because they look so cool.
Yeah, shoulder mount like you do with deer. Like, again, I'm not in... There's also, like, a big misunderstanding when it comes to hunting. Like, trophy hunting is not poaching.
Yeah.
Like, trophy hunters are using every part of the animal. They're just hunting one particular individual for a trophy. So I don't completely disagree. I disagree with trophy hunting when it becomes poaching, where you just hunted the animal for that particular part and you wasted everything else. Like, no, fuck you. You're the scum of the earth. I wish that I will mount your head on a pike. But like, yeah, like this animal was extirpated in the wild, but because of high fence hunting ranches, this animal was able to bounce back. And now they're doing really well. And another problem with high fence ranches is again the amount of them. Take a wild guess on how many high fence ranches exist in Texas alone.
I'm gonna guess high. I'm gonna guess 120.
Snap, you got a number?
What?
How many high fence hunting ranches do you think exist in Texas alone?
50.
We got 50, right? And we got what? You said, Torin, what, 120?
Yeah.
So there is exactly a little over 1,000.
What the fuck? I guess I kind of just underestimated how big Texas is.
Yeah.
Are there no like government regulations about that?
There is, but not a lot.
We get to take out our American frustrations on exotic wildlife.
Like the regulations that are there are on the species in question. So they're more lenient on native species than they are with exotics. But even then, it depends on the exotic.
There are like these little Indian deer. I don't remember what they're called in Houston.
And this is due to, and here's the thing, there's a little over 1,000. A lot of these ranches in Texas are roughly about like anywhere between 10 to 20,000 acres. But the problem is the management, because there's two types. There are private and there are public ones. The public ones get iffy because there are some people who open a high fence ranch that don't know what they're doing, where some of them are only closed off, right, by a cattle guard.
Oh, dude. They're not even trying.
Yeah, and guess what? Some of these animals escape. And this is why we have feral populations of exotic animals in the southern United States.
Yeah, I imagine with so many it would be terrible. Like there's just so many, especially in Texas, right?
Yep. There are giraffes at the border.
Giraffes? Like
giraffes.
Wild giraffes?
There are giraffes at the border.
Dude, I gotta look this up.
Mexican giraffes before GTA 6 is crazy work. Like, that's actually fucking insane, Oblivion. I believe it, though. I know that there's feral monkeys in the Everglades.
Like, there's feral population. And the crazy thing is the feral exotics in the southern United States are undergoing a big research project because some of the non-native ferals are actually they're filling in niches. They're becoming non-native instead of invasive.
That's good. At least there's an equilibrium being reached. I like that.
So, like, for instance, it's with the smaller ungulates. So things like the ungulates around the same size as like deer and horses. So like nilgai, elands, oryx. They're filling in similar niches to the elk that used to live there but went extinct.
Yeah, the nilgai was the one I was talking about when I was talking about the invasive deer.
Yeah, nilgai are an antelope, and nilgai are huge.
I might be thinking of a different one.
Yeah, like nilgai are huge. Like nilgai, I think males are like over. They're in the same weight class as horses.
Dude, what?
Yes, they're called blue buck. But yeah, nilgai are around. Yeah, they're in the same weight class as horses. They're huge.
Big ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is there's like 30,000 in Texas. But nilgai males weigh anywhere between 240 to 635 pounds. While females could be in the weight class of around 220 to 470 pounds. So yeah, they're in the same weight class as some horses.
Is the meat good? Like, because
Yeah.
I'm going to hunt it.
Yeah, the meat's good. It tastes like venison.
Ooh.
My favorite antelope. Well, actually, I have two. My favorite is the kudu, which also it has an invasive population in Texas. But also, my second favorite, very close second, is the eland, which is the largest antelope. But like eland are in the same weight class as like draft horses.
Giraffe horses?
No, draft. DRAFT.
Oh, draft. Okay. I thought you were talking about the dick horse from Ark.
Yeah, like no. Elands, like here's the thing about elands. Elands, and why I said are huge. They're bigger, they're stronger, and they're faster than moose.
Bigger than moose?
Yes, they're bigger by weight. Moose are just taller.
Do you know their like ecological niche?
Yeah, they're a large antelope. They're a large grazing animal. So yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, elands themselves, like the common eland, which is the larger species, like literally females are around, like males could get up to over 1,000 pounds. Like we're talking about 1,500 pounds. And those are for the males, like they're huge.
The females don't
And
get
the females are around like anywhere between like 900 to 1,000 pounds.
That's still a big lady, I'm not gonna lie. But that's big. That's big.
Yep, they're absolutely huge, and they could stand roughly around like 5 feet at the shoulder, like 5 to 6 feet. This is why I say like they're bigger on mass. It's just that moose are taller. Moose could be around like 6 to 7 feet at the shoulder.
Yeah, that's why they're so dangerous when you drive, because their legs are really light, and then their whole body weight will fall into your car.
Yep.
Moose are like what are they called? Remnant megafauna, something like that.
Yeah. So are elands. So are nilgai. They're leftovers of a bygone age.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like I said, they're filling an ecological niche in the southern part of the United States.
So don't we only have like a few megafauna left?
It depends on what you mean by megafauna.
Big ass animal. Like big
Yeah,
ass land animal.
Yeah, like I know, but that's why I said it depends on what you mean by megafauna. Like if you're gonna talk about like animals over 1,000 pounds, there's plenty. But if you're going to talk about multi-ton animals, then yes, there's few of them in existence.
Well, what would be classified as megafauna?
Bison, buffalo, the auroch, aka the ancestor to all modern cattle. So like even domesticated cattle, horses, elephants, rhinos, hippos.
So are woolly mammoths just megafauna squared?
No, they're classified as megafauna. They're in the same place as like an elephant.
Well, I mean, yeah, damn. Well, I just assume, like, I get how a bison and all those could be considered megafauna because they are bigger than deer and like antelope and shit. But like, I don't know. Like, I just kind of considered like them to be medium-sized megafauna, like not medium fauna, but you know what I mean. Like, they would still be megafauna, but like more on the medium-ish side.
Yeah,
But like
like
the
megafauna is usually described as any animal that weighs over a ton.
That makes sense. Okay. Cause yeah, cause like I just figured that there was just like actively a lot of things that were like the size of elephants or like bigger or like a little bit smaller.
And not really, like I said, like anything over a ton is considered megafauna.
Oh, okay. Well, shit, that's still cool. What was the giant deer? I forget its name. I can't remember it.
Megaloceros.
Huh?
Megaloceros, also known as the Irish elk.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was a big deer. I think it's still labeled as the largest deer, and its relatives still exist. Megaloceros was more closely related to fallow deer.
When did it go extinct?
They went extinct during the last ice age, roughly around 12,000 years ago.
Damn. Wouldn't even be no point in bringing them back.
Hey, didn't
Exactly.
they? Did the? There's a lot of weird stuff about the auroch. Some people like, did it go extinct? Because
Yes.
there's a long story about people trying to rebreed the auroch from like.
So the auroch is the ancestor to all domesticated cattle. The auroch were essentially like they filled in a similar niche to Cape buffalo and the European bison, the Wison, but they weren't either. The auroch inhabited as far north as like the Baltics, so like Norway, Sweden, even into Russia, and they inhabit as far south as parts of Asia, India, and parts of North Africa. And they went extinct very recently. The last auroch was killed in Poland by a farmer in the 1600s. Like they were hunted and bred into extinction because we used auroch to make cattle.
No, I don't believe it, bro. That's not true.
No.
Genetically speaking, yes.
Yeah, a lot of people criticize the people who are trying to rebreed the auroch, though, and they're like, it's not possible.
It's not that it's not possible. There's one breed of cattle called heck cattle,
Yeah.
which was an attempt to backbreed the auroch. Here's the problem: the heck cattle were bred by the Yahtzees.
Yeah.
That's why there's a lot of controversy.
Nah. I figure there must be some reason.
They were bred by the Yahtzees.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the
What
only
science?
reason?
I mean, really, who's going to be doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, they were bred by the Yahtzees, and also on top of that, the guy who was the head of the project at that time, his project was cut short because of the Yahtzees. Like, they don't fit the description that we know of for the auroch. They don't fit the color completely, nor the skull shape, or the horn shape, or the body size.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the Yahtzees were like, oh, we want to create the Aryan race. The Aryan race hunted auroch, and these guys are close enough. So we're going to take your cattle, and we're going to release them on some lands, and we're going to hunt them with spears like the good old Aryan race. They were
definitely tweaking.
Yes, they were tweaking.
Hey, Rico and Vance, when you shipping out, I'm shipping them out right after this live. Shipping them out right after this live. Shipping them out, I'm shipping out everything right after this live.
So you don't.
Bro, what the fuck was he even?
Do you know you can? I feel some people don't know they can think in their head. Like,
Yep. But I will say this, and here's the thing: auroch went extinct roughly 400 years ago. Another bit of controversy is where to put them because auroch roamed in herds in the same number as like Cape buffalo and bison in America.
yeah, like everywhere. You told me they're like
Yeah,
everywhere.
like we're talking about in the hundreds to thousands.
Damn.
You can't just like release them everywhere.
Like no, like there's barely any place left.
don't get me wrong, the ancient lifestyle does sound fucking nice, like just going into the forest and like chasing some fucking animals, like, old ancestor style, but like they was definitely tweaking. They were fucking bugging.
If we have an Aryan race,
Very funny.
Al should
No.
too.
Like, yeah, like it's a lot. Like, there's really no place to put them, and even then, their numbers will be very low.
Yeah. It's just
And also, like, another bit of controversy. Even though a lot of people want to bring them back for environmental reasons because their niche is still open, they were both a grazer and a browser. They helped shape European grasslands. Another reason why it's under controversy is because the cultural aspect. Like, Auroch were there for us during the Paleolithic era. Like, we have cave paintings of Auroch. We have ancient cultures that dedicated to Auroch. Like, they were everywhere. The Minotaur, Auroch. I'm even described as one. Norse paganism. The cow that licked the salt for the world was an Auroch. Julius Caesar wrote about Auroch and how much he loved hunting them and how aggressive they were.
damn.
Like, they played a pivotal part in human culture that a lot of people's like, we need to bring these animals back. They were so pinnacle.
Those poor Auroch.
They get pretty good lives as cows, I guess.
I mean, they're not Auroch anymore.
No, I guess not.
They're just fake
We have
Auroch.
to. We have to. We have to rebreed them.
Necessarily rebreeding. It's hold on.
Rebreed them is crazy.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like quote unquote rebreeding. It's known as a term called backbreeding, which is essentially you're taking an animal that exists and you're trying to breed back characteristics of their ancestry.
Dogs into wolves kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, it's not a pure Auroch. It's a breed of cattle we made that resembles and behaves like one.
Why would you want? I guess for hunting purposes, but like breeding a cat, like a captive, like creating a breeding population of extremely violent, gigantic cattle is the worst idea anyone could have.
I mean, even then, like Auroch were slightly larger than some of the larger breeds of cattle. Like, they're not as big as some of our dairy cattle. Like, they're not like fucking like Jersey or damn, I'm trying to remember what's that other breed?
The American Longhorn?
No, I'm talking about like dairy cattle. Holstein. Like, they're not Holstein big, but like they're as big as like some of our meat breeds.
Auroch on screen.
Yep.
Yeah, I say that because they wanted to use the traits from Longhorn cattle.
Not Longhorn. The cattle that they because like the traits that they want specifically, and the breeds that they're using are breeds like they're using Angus, Spanish fighting cattle, like some of our big, hefty, hardy meat breeds that also have an attitude. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're just making a breed of cattle that resembles their ancestor.
Fuck all that. I want that arboreal crocodile, man. That still keeps me up at night. I was 10,000, 12,000 years too late.
What is that?
An arboreal crocodile?
Yeah. Oh, what?
Arboreal?
I didn't hear what you said.
Arboreal means that it lives in trees.
Yeah, I just didn't hear him the first time.
So yeah, like
crocodile, like one of my favorite phrases that I like to say is, we used to have every flavor of crocodilian except flight.
Yeah, dude. There was a
Um,
crocodile with hooves, right? And it ran
yeah.
really fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's so scary.
Um, and there were groups of crocs that were arboreal. They lived in trees like squirrels. And even though most of these lineages of crocs went extinct, there was one lineage of arboreal crocodile that existed on New Caledonia and went extinct very recently. I think it went extinct like 6,000 years ago. Because of humans.
Their family or whatever it's called Miko Sukune.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to pull up a picture because like I just never knew what the fuck they were. This is the only thing that I could find, so this might not be it, but it just looks like a little tree croc. Also,
Yeah.
this, hold on, let me see if I can find the picture. Where is it? It's like some sort of, oh yeah. Uh, this fucking thing existed at one point too. If it loads.
Bishop, over there. Now.
Oh wow, that's annoying. Yeah, it's not gonna show the whole fucking picture. God, I love TikTok.
For some photos, it reformats them, and for others, it just doesn't.
It's this like really fucking weird reptile that existed. Let me see. God damn it.
Do you know
Yeah,
about
it's
the
just
big
this
goose?
weird. Go ahead.
You know about the big goose?
The big goose.
It was a so there's an island that perfectly represents island gigantism and insular dwarfism because the elephants got really small and these swans got really really big. And the most hilarious part about this is that the swans started hunting the elephants. The swans were big and the elephants were really small. I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
Fuck.
It up. It sounds made up. Yeah, it's called Cygnus falconeri.
I'm trying to find this picture and reformat it so I can show you because it's this weird ass reptile that existed. I don't remember when it was.
I guess it was kind of ridiculous to say that they hunted the elephants. They were kind of just cohabitating. They were like the same size though.
Well, shit. I thought that they. Well, yeah.
I saw bro's little face.
There we go.
Oh, sweet. So that's like a what kind of reptile is it?
I've got no fucking clue.
Oh, it's a
There's
it's a theropod. It's a theropod dinosaur, isn't it?
I think so, but there are fossils of it.
Yeah, I've seen it before and I recognize it because of the really big foreclaw, and that's a trait of theropsids, right?
Maybe. Again, I don't know. But I just had screenshotted it because I'm doing a spec evo for like Tegus on a terraform planet, and I'm doing just like a whole fucking biodiversity of them and shit.
Yeah, dude, I was just about to say, like, I wish we had more. I wish we could simulate universes and not in like a. It sounds messed up to say because then there's like. No, never mind. I don't want to get to the moral part. I think it would be super cool to see like. Let's just take everything away and let the arboreal crocodiles figure it out.
That's fucking funny, bro. Like, but yeah, I agree. Like, I'm definitely in agreement with the whole the universe shit. As a kid, I've definitely always pondered. Like, I was a little ponderer. I was a little thinker. Like, as a kid, like I believed in Christianity and evolution. Like, you know, I don't know. Like, I just one thing couldn't like. I don't know. My fucking brain isn't computing. But like, I was over here postulating because I didn't understand. Like, I knew that, you know, like all life in plants had a common ancestor, but I was really over here wondering, like, where did the distinction from like non-plant? Because I didn't obviously know, you know, the difference as a 5-year-old, but I was over here trying to postulate and wonder the difference between non-plant and plant. And my hypothesis is that we evolved from plants. And I mean, we kind of did, like from prokaryotic to eukaryotic, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy.
The really early forms are actually very difficult to distinguish either way. They're like I don't remember the word for it, but they're like rooted in the ground. They're eukaryotic. They have like
Fungi,
branches.
probably. Fungi.
But they're like I think they're closer to sponges. I don't remember the exact classification. So we're basically
Nidaria.
sponges.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that is true. That is true. Give me 1 second, though. I gotta look. All right. But okay. So yeah, I want to redo the Miller-Urey experiment.
I misheard you.
Hmm.
I misheard you.
Give me 1 second, because I have something in my mouth.
Gotcha.
Okay. I said I want to redo the Miller-Urey experiment. Like, I
What's
don't know
that?
how long you were in the live for, but earlier, restart. Yeah, Tori, I'm actually gonna restart the live.
Gotcha.
If you want, you can come back up. We can continue this conversation. Like, I'm gonna be like 2 seconds, honestly,
Yeah, all right.
because this is a very, very interesting conversation. I do like to, you know, talk about abiogenesis and this type of shit. But I'll be right back, brother. We'll send you the butt.